Alright, so what I thought I'd do today is a review or comparison between the Kenda KR20 tyres I usually use and these Chinese Tracmaxes. Now, unfortunately, these Tracmax things are pretty expensive. They're exactly the same cost as the Kendas for me, which is $99 each, fitted. But tyres are pretty expensive in Canberra, so just got to live with that. So I've just done one session with the Kendas on, ran them at 2.5 bar. As usual, they're wearing well, but it's very little grip side bite when you have Kendas, or at least that's what I've found. So I'm pretty interested to see if these Tracmaxes actually have a bit more side bite to them. I have been told today that the Tracmaxes are exactly the same as Rotalas, which I've heard is a good tyre, but yeah, when I originally looked for the Tracmaxes, I couldn't find any reviews of them, so that's why I'm doing one today. Alright, so I was running the Kendas at 2.5 bar, which is like 35 PSI, and they have good grip coming off the corner, but going in they have no grip, like side bite, so I'm going to lower them down a little bit and see if they grip a little bit more, but Kendas have quite a soft sidewall, so I think that might just be a limitation of the tyre. Go out and see if it's any better. Just did the second run on the Kendas. This time I had them on 2.2 bar instead of 2.5, and they were quite a lot better. Had a lot more like sidewall bite, so I didn't spin out anywhere near as much going for the big angle into short course. Pretty happy with my last run. I'll just put it up now. They're probably about 50% worn, which gives a good amount of grip for the RB20 in this car, the 168 kilowatts it's got. So what I've read online is the Kenda grip level actually drops off when you go below 2 bar, so I'm not going to go do any stupid FD tyre pressures, plus I wouldn't be able to spin them anyway. So here's the Kendas after I used them, and as you can see they wore pretty damn well. I'll probably flip them and drive a little bit on them at a later date still as well. Well, I've never tried this microphone setup before, so hopefully you can hear me. Alright. First session with the Rotalas. Better get the release agent off them. grippy so far. Seems a bit worse probably than the Kenda's, but it's got grip in areas that the Kenda doesn't, and vice versa. I need to scrub them in a bit more before I get an accurate idea of how they go. Come on RB20, do something. They slide further on the handbrake than the Kendas did, so that makes tandeming a fair bit easier, I think. Not used to these tyres yet. I don't know if I want to lead a drift train, but try to be sensible. Alright, here we go. I might have a really bad flat spot already, but that's not necessarily the tyre's fault, but a bit depressing. So you can see that they're not wearing very nicely, like they're really chunking off. I'm pulling the handbrake a lot, but it's not really an excuse for them to do that, especially when they're only at 35 psi, so not too impressed with the Tracmaxes. So I'll just do the second session now. I'm not expecting them to be alive at the end of it. So these were the tyres at the end of the second session. As you can see, this one here, which was the outside, is pretty well done. It's got a lot of chunking on it. So as I mentioned before, these tyres were really slippery when I was pulling the handbrake. I think the reason for that is that the tyres just chunking off like when you lock up the rear tyres. So that's kind of fun, but it means that you're not really getting very good wear out of the tyres. That said, I do pull the handbrake too much, so if you're not as much of a handbrake king as me, they will last a bit longer. The smoke was really good as well, especially like when you pull the handbrake, so that was kind of cool. I think if you could buy these tyres for about $50 or $60, they'd be decent value, but I paid $100 for them, so for that they just don't compare to the Kendas at all. Also, Wakefield Park is a really smooth, like properly prepared racetrack, so if you use these tyres on a street course, I think they're going to get absolutely destroyed when you pull the handbrake. So the grip was not that dissimilar to the Kendas in the end. The Kendas obviously had a lot more grip when you had the handbrake up than these did, but in terms of actual side bite, I don't think there was a huge difference between them. I think I was drifting better with the Kendas, but I think that's because I'm more used to them than because the grip they had was much better, different than these ones. So overall, I wouldn't really go out of my way to buy these again. If I could get them for $50 or $60, then they'd be okay, but any more than that, and they're just not really worth it. So current recommendation is if you can buy Kenda KR20s, keep buying them, and if not, probably better off going for a Minerva ME0 if you can find them, because they're a similar price or cheaper than these, and by all accounts they wear a lot better. I will be buying some of the ME0s in the next couple of weeks, so I might do a review on those ones as well and see how they compare to the Kendas. If you have any comments or criticism, make sure you put it in the comments below, and thank you for watching.